Hey, Darren, you know, there are some things that, are being spoke about, concerning Chicago business. We don't get in other people's business, different cities,
Right, right.
so, like our little brother Dirk, we love that little brother.
People get killed over stuff that's not even real. You got people fighting over shit that ain't even got nothing to do with them because somebody else said something.
Exactly,
You know,
hearsay.
people take that serious. It'll be different if it was just gossip. Up here, gossip can get people killed. And you got a lot of strife that's going on. And then it's coming from people that are not even from Chicago. So that's a big problem. And that thing that's going on with Lil Durk right now, I don't think nobody should be speaking on that. We don't even know what the outcome of that is. And definitely not nobody from another state. I think if anybody's gonna speak on that, it should be either him himself or his father. Nobody else.
I totally get it.
Nobody.
When the world starts spinning and the truth gets blurred, the OGs stepping voices to be heard. With wisdom so grand, they're here to break it down. Gonna tell it like it is all around the town. OG chopping block.
Hey, Darren, you know, there are some things that, are being spoke about, concerning Chicago business. We don't get in other people's business, different cities,
Right, right.
so, like our little brother Dirk, we love that little brother from here.
Right, right.
I think, people need to mind their own fucking business, man, and let Chicago handle their business. We don't get in LA business. We don't get in New
Right.
York business. You know what I'm saying? It's not about us getting in other people's business. And I want young brothers to understand in Chicago, we need to approach our business intelligently and not make it work against us. But, out of respect, we need to ask other people to leave our business alone. What do you think about that?
I think so too. You know, I remember I was thinking about that when I was a kid. They used to have a saying in our house, what goes on in this house
Stays
stays
in
in
it.
this house. So that means that wasn't to be shared with nobody. And now I'm looking, you got everybody's got a podcast. And it's got a lot of people, even people in the United Kingdom, making giving so-called history about Chicago business, which is totally incorrect. You know, a lot of times they posting stuff out and then they don't have the facts right. So I think it's better for people to mind their own business just like we mind our own business. Let us tell our own story. That's like somebody trying to get a history on my mother and father. Let us get that history
Hey,
and
man.
we can give a more accurate account.
No, for real, man. Because I be listening to some of the guys on the social media. No disrespect to nobody, but once again, let Chicago handle Chicago business. You got enough business to handle your own business, so take care of your own business. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to come and try to get involved in your business. We don't know what the terrain is. We don't know what's going on in your city. We don't know what the personal issues are. We live here. You know what I'm saying? So, let us take care of our own business. And like I said, you young brothers out there, man, be intelligent about the situation, but take care of our business. Don't send our business across the state line or across the waters or what have you. Just take care of your business, man. Be intelligent about it. You're some intelligent guys. These organizations around here, they're still in full effect. You know what I'm saying? So we need not to get the game twisted, man.
Uh, Minding your own business. See, we very private up here. I know I'm a very private person. One of the things that's really disturbing me the most, and because I live that life, is you got people from other states and now you got people from other countries giving an account of how we live. They weren't here. They can't give a correct, accurate account, and then it's not their business. And most of the time, when I'm going on these pages, they even got Facebook pages, these podcasts. Everybody got podcasts, and they telling stuff, and it's incorrect. You see, I'm stuttering because I'm so upset about it. I talk to Delvin about this all the time. You got so many people out there giving false information. Now, to see the bad part about giving false information, especially when it comes to Chicago stuff, you got people getting hurt and killed over that. You got
Exactly.
strife that's going on because people are telling them things that's just not true. That's why this show is important to document the real Chicago history from who? the real Chicago guys.
Totally agree.
So
Totally agree.
yeah, so I agree with that. I think everybody need to stay out of our business. And I think a lot of it's not even genuine. A lot of it's to keep this strife going. You know, you got young guys, I think about it like this. How was I thinking when I was a young man? You know, a lot of times we look at these young guys and we expect them to think like a 50 or 60-year-old man. I didn't think like that when I was 16, 17. People get killed over stuff that's not even real. You got people fighting over shit that ain't even got nothing to do with them because somebody else said something.
Exactly. Hearsay.
You know, people take that serious. It'd be different if it was just gossip. Up here, gossip can get people killed. And you got a lot of strife that's going on. And then it's coming from people that are not even from Chicago. So that's a big problem. And that thing that's going on with Lil Durk right now, I don't think nobody should be speaking on that. We don't even know what the outcome of that is. And definitely not nobody from another state. I think if anybody's gonna speak on that, it should be either him himself or his father. Nobody else.
I totally get it.
Nobody.
I totally get it, man. You know, we just need to rally ourselves together and try to figure this thing out amongst ourselves without outside influences. What I'm saying. So, you know, we're asking you out there, you know, to, you know, not try to take this thing and blow it out of proportion, you know, and let the brothers here deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And once again, you young brothers, man, approach this thing intelligently, you know, because 9 times out of 10, you know, the trap is being set anyway. And that's not what we want you to do, get caught in the trap. You know what I'm talking about. So pay attention to what I'm saying, man. You know, and I'm just talking to you from the heart. I'm not trying to talk down to you, I'm talking with you, you know. So be aware of what's happening, you know, and other people in other states, be respectful, you know, be respectful about what's going on here. We're well aware of what's going on here, and we're going to approach it the correct way.
And a lot of our young men, Mr. Rick, need to learn how to stop talking so much. We got too many of our own young men right here to talk too much. When we was coming up, you didn't talk about that business. You didn't put that out there. And see, what I think a lot of them, they don't realize is when they put that information out there, like you starting to see a lot of these little young guys, these drill guys, and you seeing them on these different podcasts with different people. For them, they just happy to be seen on TV. Other people have other agendas. Every time they go on there and open their mouth and start talking about things, they don't know it's all kind of people listening to this. The major universities is documenting this. The prison system is documenting this. The court system is documenting this. This is why, let's put it out there. When you have young black men in the street, and it's so easy to kill one of them, I'm talking about the police and other agencies, it's because they build a psychological profile around all of those things that these guys are talking about on these podcasts. They don't realize you putting a nail in your own coffin. Because all they got to go back and do is say, well, the reason it was easy for this to happen, out of his own mouth, he said, this is what they do. So they'll use your own words against you. So that's why a lot of them even need to stop talking so much. I ain't never seen so much talking before in my life. When I was coming up, you didn't talk about things.
Well, let me interject and give them some game about that. You know, I used to know a person. Well, I know a person that used to work for the FBI. Their job was to sit back and watch the internet all day for their 8 hours,
Right.
in order to find things that are being said that is going to lead to and maybe solve some of the situations that's going on. So you need to be very careful how you're getting on that internet, because, hey, I'm telling you, they're watching. You know, as they say, Big Brother's watching. You know, so be careful what you say out your mouth, man. You know, don't incriminate yourself, don't incriminate others. You know, be very intelligent about how you deal with this society. It's not what you think it is. I'm just trying to tell you now.
Yeah, they on Facebook. They go on there and check and see what people are talking about. Now, that's one thing to give history. We give history, but there's certain things we don't talk about because that's not for everybody to know.
It's not public
There's some
information.
things we take to the grave with us. So you can give history without going into certain things.
Real for real.
You know, and I don't think the younger guys understand that. They so frantic to be on TV and seeing each other on their different podcasts, and they don't realize they're being set up. When they see you on there talking like that, talking about how y'all sliding on each other, They know how many penitentiaries to build.
Amen.
They know how many drug rehab programs
Amen.
to come up with. So all this is going into your file. Every time, they even ask some of the guys to come to the universities and give lectures on street gangs and stuff like that, especially Chicago. And it seems like everybody's interested in the Chicago story now, because it makes money. I was looking at this one podcast. This guy's in the United Kingdom. Now, he was doing the history on the Disciple Nation, the Gangster and the Disciple Nation.
How
Now,
that
on
work?
his podcast, I think he had 1.6 million views. When I went through it and looked, he had a lot of information that was incorrect. My question is, why is he so concerned with what Chicago guys are doing? So what it's looking like is this has become real profitable for people, because my son was sharing to me how when you get so many views, it's monetized. So now with the stuff going on with Lil Durk, that's just gonna be another avenue of revenue for somebody that want to make a name for themselves doing these podcasts. And see, all that needs to come to an end. But it ain't gonna come to an end if we keep volunteering information. And then look what happened. They got too familiar with them. Now you got, black folks call each other niggas. I don't too much agree with that, but call
It
each
is
other
what it
niggas.
is.
It is what it is. But they got so familiar with the Arabs. Now the Arabs be saying, that's my nigga. They got so familiar with them. The Arabs came in the neighborhood. They started messing with the women. So now you got a bunch of Arabs in your neighborhood, and all your grocery stores are Arabs. Then the Pakistanians came. Then you had the Indians came. So everything in our community ain't owned by nobody. Now we got the Venezuelans, and they getting familiar with these guys. And I was telling these young guys, because they talking about now that they in our neighborhoods, we gonna make them BDs and GDs. So you gonna ask them to join your organizations to help you kill other young black men. And see, what they don't realize is those people are not your friends. They laughing with you and talking. They getting to know the city, the layout of the city. Now, once they get their numbers up, then they're gonna turn on you, and you just see just where that's at. So we got a lot of stuff going on in the community. And and I thought that thing with Lil Durk was something that we should address and tell people to leave that alone. Stay away from that. That's their family business and in Chicago business. If we ain't in it, should nobody be in it?
For real, for real. That leads to another part of our dynamics, not necessarily in Chicago, but you got the brother Big Meech just coming home, familiar terrain is what I'm saying, just in a different location, and it would be totally retarded for us to try to dictate his affairs.
Right.
Because we don't know his affairs. We know what they have said about his affairs. It's like some of the other brothers that's having these problems, until they're guilty, leave it alone, man.
Right.
So shout out to Big Meech, man. I'm glad you're home, brother. You know what I'm saying? If you need to speak, here's a platform for you, but once again, in all these different cities, take care of your business, We don't need to come from Chicago and get in your business.
Right, exactly.
You don't need to come to Chicago and get in our business. Take care of the business that's at hand. When you come to Chicago, man, Chicago is a different town, man. And I'm thinking that most other cities are the same. You really need to know somebody here before you just come in here and just jump down, man, because these people are pretty organized around here, man, whether they're young or old. I'm just trying to tell you, you come in here and just try to be clandestine, you might have a future shock. This is real shit, so once again, it leads back to mind your own business, man. Things here are a little bit different than all the other places that I've been. That's not to say that, hey, this is more gangster or, more murderous or shit like that. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, man, they handle their business, in a little bit more tight-knitted situation, right or wrong, not for me to say, but that's how they get down. We got places like O Block, we got places all over south side of Chicago, the west side of Chicago. You go in these places and you're foreign to it. The shit is not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. These guys actually control these areas, man, right or wrong. You understand? So you know, let these guys handle their business, but at the same time, let the guys be intelligent about how they handle their business.
Right.
We're not here, or we should not be here, to kill each other, to conquer each other, take advantage of each other. That's not why we're here, man. We got to snap out of this, for real, for real. Foreigners come here and open up businesses in our community, deal with our children, however they choose to, talk slick, you know what I'm saying? That's my nigga, this, that, and the other. This shit gotta end, man. For real, for real. I ain't your nigga. And we have to start taking control. You young guys, man, you're so powerful, man. I just want you to realize how powerful you are and start using the power to work for us and not against us. This shit is out of control, man.
You're right. Let's go back to that O Block thing. Not just O Block, any community up here. So you got a lot of people come from other places and try to go in these communities because they hear about how rough these neighborhoods is. And for them, that's a clout status. Matter of fact, it's this little clown. I can't think of his name right now. He kept going down there in O Block trying to make it look like he tough and they wasn't gonna do nothing. But what he was doing was, he's talking about, I'm down here, it's 10 o'clock at night. Birds don't chirp at 10 o'clock at night. So that means you down there early in the morning when everybody's asleep. And I said, if these guys would have caught him, they would have did something to him. So you just can't come here, go into a neighborhood and you like you say, you don't know nobody. If you from Chicago, you don't go in the area and you don't know nobody.
Believe what I'm telling you.
These are closed societies. They don't know who you are. And in the world we live in now, we got so many informants. So that's the first thing come up when you see somebody snooping around your neighborhood. Even us today. Now, we've been away from the streets for years. Now, we standing outside, cars coming down the street. Even to this day, I was with my boy Rick Stone from Cooley High. We over on the north side. It ain't Cabrini Green no more, right?
Right.
It's near north.
Right.
Now, you got new people living around there, and they walking around like, hey, they've been there forever. Like this has always been a nice neighborhood. But the rest of us that grew up on these streets, when cars pulling up, we stop talking. Hey, man, you know him? That's first thing come up when you come in a neighborhood. Somebody gonna ask, you know him? You know her? So you just can't come in these areas like that. And that's how a lot of people are getting hurt. And they're doing it coming from some of these other cities trying to get clout. I've been over here. Don't do that.
Hey, man.
It ain't no reason for you to die. Like you said, we ain't trying to glorify that. It's just, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And we need to make it work for us and not against us. I'm born and bred here in Chicago. And let me tell you, all of my life, I did not feel like I had the freedom to go wherever the hell I wanted to go. You understand what I'm saying? If I went in the hole, if I went certain places on the west side, and I'm from the west side, if I went certain places on the south side, I had to make a phone call.
We made some calls.
Hey, man, dig, I'm finna come over there, you
Right.
know, and I got some things, I got to take care of, but hey, I need to holler at you. That's not being a coward. It's being smart, man,
Right.
because it doesn't matter where you are. Strange shit'll happen, man.
That's right.
Believe what I'm telling you, man. These people are getting down, man, the way they get down. And if you don't respect it, they'll get down on you, But my point is, we're very quick to get down on each other. Hey, man, one of the things that really, really disturbs me or is foreign to me is that cats coming out of prison talking about they violated so-and-so or I, did this and, now dude is, lives a different lifestyle because of his violation. Man, where this monkey ass shit come from, man? Back in my time, no disrespect to nobody, but back in my time, you was fucking with a man. Nigga was looking at you like, hey, man.
Right.
What the fuck
I
is
remember
you
you
on?
got jumped on for that
Man,
back in the
man.
days.
What kind of shit is this? Like it's
Right.
okay to violate another man. And it's very irritable if you're violating any man. Why are you violating black men? And I'm not saying you should violate any man.
No, man.
I'm just saying, where did this twisted shit come from, man? I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. If you want to be gay, power to you. I have nothing to do with that. But to make a person do something against their will, and then you come out like, You got 5 or 6 feathers in your cap for taking advantage of a human being. This
Right.
is some sick shit, man.
You know, you had guys that were going to prison at one time, even up here, and guys were raping guys. And then it came to a point where certain individuals put an end to that. Like you said, if you want to be gay, that's your business. But now you talking about raping young boys and then bragging about it. It's been several guys up here that did that back in the day, and they met their demise when they came home. Now you got this particular individual that's they show some skits of him even on this cartoon. I think his name is Fleece Johnson. But anyway, they showed some skits of him when he was still in the penitentiary, and he was talking about how he'd look at a guy and say, "You, come here." And then when the guy came over there, now you know he only doing that to people who will allow it. They know the
He
guys
sure
are
ain't doing
scared.
it to nobody that's plugged.
You ain't definitely ain't doing it to no real man. So he get the guys, and they were real men. I take that back. I don't want to say they ain't real men. They were scared and they never been in there. They in another world. Some of them guys ain't never been back there before. So they get back there and they scared. And he know it, you know, like these people prey on people that's scared. And he talked about in his videos how he would tell the guy, "Hey, you come here. I've been looking at you and I like you and I want you. We could do it the easy way or the hard way." And he said most of the people that he approached like that, they went on and did it the easy way. Now he bragging about how he done took some young guy's manhood and bragging about it. Now this guy is free. And he got a podcast and he talks about it on there. Now they got a section, a scene in the Boondocks where he's doing that to this doctor in a doctor's office, right? And people are applauding this. Now I was looking at one of the podcasts and he was laughing with another guy talking about we could do it the easy way or the hard way. Now to me, somebody need to knock his fucking head off. If he was up here,
Crazy shit.
his ass would be in the ground.
That is some crazy shit.
You violating young men, and then you sit up and brag about it. And the sick part is I don't even see how the people that's sitting up there listening to their podcast, you know, and bringing him on the show. People like that need to be dead.
Well, you know, the difference between other places and here when you go to prison, you know, motherfuckers already mobbed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you come into prison and you belong to a certain mob, you know, first thing they gonna do is give you a care package. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is where we at, this is how we do things. You know, this shit's so serious up here, nigga, that when you go eat dinner or lunch or whatever, breakfast, whatever it is, organizations stand and line up a certain way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Neutrons in the middle. You know what I'm saying? 5-star in wherever, the front or the back, however they got that arranged. 6 stars in, you know, wherever they got that arranged. This shit here, you just don't come and do all that shit that you can just violate a man and then they just stand around and watch.
Right.
That shit ain't happening up here, man.
That shit ain't happening. And even the guys that was neutrons, you know, you got people up here to look at these are still men. Like, it's one thing if you in that lifestyle, they done gave it to you. But for you to sit up there and take that from somebody and then had nerve to be bragging about it, you out here in the street, I'm surprised ain't nobody did nothing to him. I know up here, they would have knocked his fucking head off.
You know, I'm not going to say that it's different anywhere else, but, you know, I'm going to say here in Chicago, you know, it wouldn't be to your advantage to come around here bragging about no shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you got cats around here, you know what I'm saying, that got a bad taste in their mouth about that. Will knock your shit back.
Exactly.
And didn't even know the person.
Don't even know him. Just the fact that you out here talking like that and bragging. You know, you done took somebody's manhood and then come out here, you got a podcast and got a lot of views on it.
Hey, man, you know.
You know, because now a lot of these podcasts have become just garbage cans. It's just a place to dump a bunch of trash and get a bunch of views.
I totally agree. And I think that if you're going to do these podcasts, you know, you should always have in the back of your mind that there's a certain responsibility that comes with distributing information. You know, whatever your lifestyle is, that's your lifestyle. I'm not knocking anybody that wants to be this or that. What I'm saying is a helpless human being that's being violated to do something that they don't want to do, that's a different subject matter.
Whole nother
You know,
subject.
and I'm not going to ever agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I've been in prison, I've been in situations. I don't want to go into it, but I had to tell some guys one time, you know, and I wasn't even in this state. And I had to tell them, hey, man, you know, you ain't finna do none of that shit.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? If that guy wants to do that, then you can do that. And they don't even know that I saved their ass
right,
because that guy, even though he was gay, you know, but he had not agreed to do anything with
right.
anybody, turned out that his family was some of the biggest motherfuckers in America. You know, and had they done that violation, they would probably still be in the penitentiary, and that was about 40 fucking years ago.
Right.
You know, so think about what you're doing, man, and you know, all that violation against people's will, man, that ain't cool, man.
Not cool
That
at
ain't cool
all.
at all, man.
Another thing, even back in the day when I was out there on the streets, one of the policies I had with the people that was up under me, we didn't fuck with people that wouldn't. We only fought other gang members. Now I ain't glorifying that. I want people to understand we not glorifying that, but we only fought people that we were into it with. I didn't tolerate people bullying nobody. Matter of fact, at the time, I had some girls in our group, and we had some movie star women. We had some rough looking ones, and we had some bad ones, right? Now, at one time, you had a lot of those guys that was calling shots. If they had girls up under them, they used to make them girls set it out. I told my girls, you don't have to do that. You don't have to give me no pussy and none of these niggas up in here. And if I find out anybody doing that, I'm gonna be to see you.
You understand what I'm
Them
saying?
girls love me to this day. I protected them. You know, like I said, you had a lot of guys that was calling it if they had females in their groups, they make them girls set that out. I didn't do that. You know, I got sisters, man. I got a mama. I wouldn't want nobody to do that. And plus, to me, that was the same as rape. I was never into rape. You know,
Exactly.
if anybody was with me, I wanted them to be with me because that's where they wanted to be. I even had a policy. If a person said they wanted to get out of a gang, I used to tell them, if you don't want to be a part of this, come see me and tell me that you want to walk. I would rather let you go than to have you here against your will, because now you're more of a threat to me, because you'll do anything to get out of that situation. So I would let people leave, and I protected them women. And like I said, now all these people are older now, them girls didn't thank me for it because I protected them. You
Amen.
know, only thing I wanted them to do was be loyal back. Because see, we didn't play that. Some of us didn't play that bullying shit. Like I said, we only fought the guys that we was into it with. If a person was an athlete, athletes was off limits. You had athletes that lived in different gang neighborhoods. They could go anywhere and play ball. They was off limits. I
Exactly.
even had some guys we wouldn't even let them join. No, man, I know your mother and your father. Man, this my life is not yours.
Right.
You know,
Not your lifestyle.
and I'm glad we thought like that stuff. And like you say, on this show, we ain't glorifying anything. We just giving a history of what happened, the way it happened, and we giving it from our point of view, the Chicago point of view.
But here's the crazy part about it. To be here and even have to have this conversation is to show how far we have gotten off the mark.
Right,
You know, because these organizations didn't start with that intent.
right,
You know, these were community protectors, political activists, business owners, what have you, you know, and to be sitting here talking about violating men and come on, man, this is some crazy shit, man. We're too far
yeah,
from the mark here. We got to get back into protecting ourselves, not becoming the enemy of each other. You know,
right,
they slid some shit in there on us called opposition. How could you have
right.
ever been opposition? Here's a wake up call, man. I'm gonna give it to you because I'm done. But here's a wake up call. You know, everybody in America took a plane or a boat here with a ticket. You didn't have a motherfucking ticket when you got here, when they brought you here, man. Think about what I'm saying. You know, as black people here in America, we were brought here against our will, made to do things against our will. For 400 years, we had to live in this shithole against our will. You know, so now we're going to take that and use it against ourselves. This is the most insane shit to me I've ever heard.
That's true. I want to bring this point out. I think me and Delvin, we talked about this before. Like when you see a lot of stuff that's going on in our communities, Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. I was raised right. I made a decision that I wanted to go in that direction. I wanted to be in a gang ever since I was 8 years old. Never told my parents none of that. My parents had a good job. My father was a mechanic for CTA for 44 years. I was raised up in church. I decided that this is what I want to be a part of. Now, sometime when we dealing with young people that are out doing the things that they're doing, sometimes we hear, well, the reason they're doing it is because they've been conditioned to do it. Here's where I challenge that. I do believe traps have been put out, traps. But let's go back in history. You know, some of us believe the Bible, some don't, but most black people believe that the black man is the original man. We believe that. Now, if we really believe that, then we have to look at the fact that black folks was fighting each other long before white people came to Africa. Those tribes, and there has never been a time, I'm gonna repeat this again, there's never been a time, whether you was black or white, that people identified themselves as black and white. I got a lot of white friends. If I ask them what's their nationality, they're gonna say I'm Irish. Some gonna say I'm German. Some gonna say I'm Polish. Some gonna say I'm French. People have identified themselves by their tribes and clans. Even black folks, you go to Africa, they ain't gonna say I'm an African. They might say that when they come here
Right.
and they talking to us, so we'll know where
Exactly.
you from. But they gonna say they tribe name. So people have been fighting each other and killing each other since the beginning of time. Now, when the European did come to Africa, they saw the division. They saw those tribes fight each other, just like white people was killing each other too. They saw that. They supplied, they started trading business. And what would happen? Let's say you from one tribe, I'm from another tribe. You're not looking at me like we all black men. I'm looking at you like you a Bantu. I'm
Exactly.
Swahili. I ain't looking at this black thing. So let's say I sell you into slavery. And that's what they were doing. So, and the reason I wanted this to come out, because I think sometimes when people keep focusing on people being conditioned to fight and kill each other, to me, that's enabling. When you say that somebody else conditioned me, that's saying that I can't think for myself. And I know that's not true, because everything I did in life, I did that because that's what I wanted to do. Now, did other people encourage it? Did they help me make provisions for me to act that out? Yeah, but I wasn't conditioned to do it. And I think when we stop telling them that, it holds individuals accountable. I think individuals had to be held accountable. And I think when we stop blaming other people, because how did they trade us into slavery? White people didn't even have the numbers. Now, one thing did get them an advantage was the gun. The gun changed the course of history. So,
Believe that.
but they didn't have the numbers. And even to this day, we still caught up in sectarianism, tribalism, even on the streets, all the little gangs and cliques, those ain't number tribes fighting against each other. They don't see each other, oh, that's another black man. Nobody identified as being black and white until later in life. People always would identify with what ethnic group they belong to. Not all white people get along.
Oh no, not all people at all.
Yeah, you look at every world war, those was white people fighting each other. So we have to hold our people accountable, and we stop glorifying ignorant stuff. And that's why I think, you know, like with this guy that's bragging about raping these little boys and how he did it, people need to shut that down. Because see, if people stop watching that, he'll have to get off the air. He need to be rebuked. And people don't need to look at, ain't nothing funny about that. You got some young guys walking around now messed up because of what happened to them a long time ago. And then they think they not men because they got raped. Anybody could have got raped.
Well, you know, I agree with you. Anybody could have gotten raped if that was a disadvantaged
If it was a
situation,
disadvantage,
you know. But
or fear.
we have to become the protectors of each other again, you know, and all of that starts with, you know, people seem to think that this language that I'm finna use is a cop-out, you know, but I'm gonna give it to you in the raw. This is maturity. because I ain't no bitch ass nigga at all.
Right,
I'm gonna
right,
make that motherfucking clear.
right.
You understand?
You had to kill me.
Nigga, you don't want to fuck with me like that.
You go get it, but I'm gonna be dead.
I wasn't always
Oh,
sitting
you
in,
gonna be dead.
listen what I'm saying. I wasn't always sitting in this motherfucking chair in front of this camera.
Right,
You better
right.
check my motherfucking history.
Right.
Hey man, listen. But what I'm trying to say to you is it all starts with love, man. It all starts with love. You know, there used to be a thing, and it's still in the book. It says, love thy neighbor. You have to learn your neighbor, know your neighbor, love your neighbor. See, they've taken the love aspect out of our equation. You know, love is only used, love your woman, love your wife, love your children. You understand? But you got to love people, man. And when you do love people, you'll find that there's a different meaning in life. And you'll find that people come together. You know, I ain't always thought like this. Now.
Right. We ain't always thought like
Don't
this.
get it fucked up. You know,
Right.
I wasn't trying to hear none of that. You
Right.
know? But as a matured man, I do understand that, hey, that's the key to it all. You know, in closing, man, we're talking about, you know, our brother Lil Durk. You know, there are 1,000 Lil Durks around this planet. I mean, around this country. You understand what I'm saying? But that particular situation, you know, needs to not just allow people in their city to take care of their business, but black folk need to learn, man, that, you know, we got to take care of our business in this country, man. It ain't just in no city, you know, because that's clicking again. That's how we got fucked up now.
Right,
We're in
all
this
this clicking.
situation. Yeah.
Right.
You know, we have to understand, man, that we have to get back to the point where as we take care of each other, man. You know, because this thing here has really started to work against us in a bad way, you know, and we got to get back to that space. All other people take care of their own community and their own kind. It's not a crime to do that. It's not
It's not a
weak to do
crime.
that. You understand me? It's human nature to do that. And with all the power that we have, you understand me? If we started doing that, this world would change for us now. I done told you.
Right. I was listening to this brother, Dr. Claude Anderson, and he was breaking down what racism is.
Come on,
He was
man.
like, racism is not, I don't like you, I'm going to kill for you because you black, white. He said, racism, real racism, he says, a team sport. It's about putting your race first. It's about taking care of the people. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
Shit, it's the only thing. Right?
If black people would do it, it ain't nothing wrong with taking care of your race. You would be a fool to take care of somebody else and not take care of the people in your house first.
Man, you gonna take the
First.
groceries next door, huh?
Right. You take them to your house first, and then if you have something left over, you give them, but you take care of your house. Another thing I want to bring up is for our fathers, these men that's still out here in the street. I noticed the men are real immature now. We got more men gang banging longer than ever before. You got men that are 30 and 40, and they talk just like the
50.
teenagers. Yeah, 50. And they sound just like the young people. They listen to the same bullshit music the young people listen to. When I got 19, and by the time my kids got here, I was done with that. You going constantly in and out of the penitentiary. You leaving your kids at the mercy of the world. And then we need fathers that tell their sons they love them. I'm going to share this just quickly. I had never heard my father tell me that. He never told me that. The first time I heard him say that is when I told him that. Now, I told him in the streets. We say that every day. Even if I call my friends, whether they be Vice, Lord Stone, the disciple, every time we get off that phone, it's going to be love.
Hey.
If I talk to my brother's friends that were El Rukins, when they answer that first thing come out of their mouth is peace and love. So we got to start telling them that. And then we got to stop glorifying the violence on each other. Anybody can go and kill people in their own house, but we don't do it to nobody else. And we need to stop honoring them. These are not real soldiers at war. Soldiers at war are fighting foreign wars against foreign enemies. You killing each other. You're not a soldier at war. These people are looking at you laughing.
Hey,
they laughing.
in a big way.
In a big way, because they know you ain't gonna touch them.
Amen.
And then we brag about it. So we got to stop giving a platform for that kind of foolishness. It's like 1 million podcasts out there now. And all I hear is these young black boys on here talking about, oh man, so-and-so was killer. He killed so many. He got 10 bodies. Yeah, out of your own community. But if you look in your community, you don't own shit. And then you being pushed out of your community. It's almost like this is the death of the black community. But I hate to say it, The black man is helping kill his own community. It don't matter what somebody else put out there. Remember what we talked about before? My grandmother, I remember one time, and I'm done, she told me, sit on this porch and don't go nowhere. And I kept telling her, Grandma, they going, everybody calling me. She said, I don't give a shit what they telling you. You know what I said. So just because somebody put a crate of guns out there don't mean you have to pick it up. That's a choice. Now, here's another thought. Them guns that they were supplying y'all to kill y'all with, now that they using these Venezuelans to push you out, now who you think they giving the crates to now? And they know how to use them, because most of these guys coming from over there,
Missionaries.
they mercenaries, yeah, paramilitary training. So that's just something to think about until the next time we had this great discussion on the chopping block.
Well, we'd like to hear your comments, and we'd like to hear what your opinion is. And, you know, we'd like for you to subscribe, have these conversations. We're going to put a situation together whereas we can get on the internet and talk to each other in a private space and really hear you, because honestly, we got to find some love, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We got to find some love, man, because ain't nobody in the fucking world loving us, man. Believe what I'm telling you. And if we don't love ourselves, we're going down. I'm going to leave you with some love, and we're going to keep putting it on the chopping block, and we're going to keep chopping it up. You know, I'm here with my man, Darrin Lyles, and hey, we're going to keep coming back at you. Hey, we want to hear your opinion. You know what I'm saying? We're not the law. You know, we don't make the rules. We're just giving you our opinion, man. You know, and we're going to leave you with that on the chopping block.
When the world starts spinning and the truth gets blurred, the OGs step in, voices to be heard. With wisdom so grand, they're here to break it down. Gotta tell it like it is all around the town. OG chopping block, where the real talk don't stop. Cutting through the